When you meet with your coaching clients, do you practice good self-management? I'll share some ideas on how you can better manage yourself and how it affects your coaching presence in this video. It's very important when we meet with our coaching clients that we exercise good self-management and bring our best coaching presence to the session. But as coaches, we're also human beings, and we have our own thoughts, feelings, perspectives, even biases, positions that may affect the way we think and feel in a coaching session. What do we do in a situation like that? Because it could affect our coaching presence and could also affect our coachees' experience in the coaching session. Let me give you an example. What if you're meeting with a coaching client and they bring up the fact that they are going to go on a vacation to a place that you've been to and you had a horrible time vacationing there, and you just start to recall how horrible of a vacation it was and reliving some of the experiences in your mind. You're starting to get distracted now and dwelling on that past experience as your client is telling you about how excited they are to go on that vacation. There's two potential problems here, right? One, you're recalling a past terrible experience, which is distracting you. And two, you may be thinking, boy, you shouldn't go on vacation to this place. It was really bad. But that's not really what the coaching session is about. This is actually pre-coaching session banter, where you're just getting familiar with the client, getting warmed up for the coaching session. Perhaps you don't do that, but a lot of times with my clients, I find that once we get familiar with each other, they generally want to just have a little bit of social conversation before they get to the actual heart of the coaching session. So this can happen. It's just a simple example. How about inside of a coaching session? So now you're actually coaching the client and they have a position about a coworker, their manager, that you totally disagree with and you think is the wrong position. This is fairly common, right? We are humans and we have our own thoughts and feelings about situations. What's important to do there? Well, you have two options. One, you could bring it up and say, this is something that's bubbling up for me, and I'm wondering about this. I'd like to just share it with you. So that's one approach. You could potentially do that, but it may derail your client from their thinking process and the direction that they want to go in, because they may feel that by you sharing that, now you're gently directing them in another way. And we don't generally want to do that, right? We want to give our clients the autonomy to choose direction for their lives in the situations that they face and to come up with their own ideas. So we generally don't want to share too much when we have an alternative viewpoint to what they're thinking they want to do. That would be a fairly rare occasion. So then the other path is for us to basically just let it go. Let it go. Can we let it go? This is self-management. There are other times where we're in a coaching session and we are getting up to the perhaps close of the session. And what's happening after this coaching session? We might be heading to lunch with a good friend whom we haven't seen for months and months. It's an exciting occasion that's coming up right after this coaching session. Your mind notices the clock, thinks about the lunch, and for a moment, you're off in another world. You've lost touch with the client and the coaching presence. What do you do in a situation like that? Well, probably your ego doesn't want to admit to the client that you've been distracted and have lost touch with the client. So you may not want to say anything. But the reality is that you may have missed something, and your client may actually be feeling that the presence has decoupled there for a moment. So you could actually just come out and say, I am so sorry. a thought entered my head and I got distracted and I missed the last thing that you said. Please tell me what you just said so that I can get back into sync with you here. How bad is that really? If you have an established relationship with this client, then they know things happen. They become distracted throughout their day as well when they're in conversation with other people. Just because you're the coach doesn't mean you never get distracted and never lose touch with the client. So that's probably the more human, realistic way to deal with it. This may be a challenge for you. So these things happen, right? These thoughts that come into our mind that are distracting, these positions that we have that may be in opposition to what the client is thinking. But then there's a third situation, which is probably a little more serious. The third situation is your client has a feeling about a certain issue, and you have an opposite feeling about that issue that's so strong that you are having a hard time adopting a neutral and objective stance with your client. In that case, you actually may find it difficult to coach that client. And therefore, you may want to refer that client to someone else, another professional who could better serve them, because generally within codes of ethics that are provided by coaching bodies that govern the coaching profession, they suggest that when you're not suitable to coach the client, you be the one to bring it up, because we operate from a basis of integrity. It's a bedrock of our profession. So it's up to us to decide, can we coach this client? Is this client so different from us in their approach to this situation, their position in this situation, and it's essentially diametrically opposed to the way we feel, and we just cannot get to that neutral place? Then your self-management is going to be really challenged each time you get together with this client. So you just may want to refer them to another professional. And again, the client would see that you're being a real professional and looking out for their best interest and recommending them to someone else. So a few ideas here on self-management. There are more ideas that we could talk about and may address in future videos, but I hope this introduction helps you to start thinking about self-management and ways that you can bring yourself to the coaching session in a full and grounded way that helps you to be the best coach for your client. If you have your own thoughts about self-management, please place them in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them and respond to them. And if this has been helpful to you, please like the video, share it with others, and comment on it. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you're notified when new videos are released, which are generally every week. Now, if you'd like to go deeper with me and learn even more about how to be successful as an executive and leadership coach, then consider joining my in-person seminar, which is probably only a few months away from the time you're watching this video. You can email me at michael@BAECexecutivecoach.com to learn more, or visit the centerforexecutivecoaching.com to learn about all of our programs. This is the center for which I operate as a faculty member. I am also someone who runs online training classes each week, many weeks of the year, so you can join as a distance learning member, or you can take a virtual seminar with our founder, or you could join the in-person seminar with me, which is delivered a few times of the year. If you'd like to learn more, visit their website, or email me at michael@BAECexecutivecoach.com, or even consider going to BAECexecutivecoachtraining.com, which is a separate website that I've built that has all kinds of great resources for you as a coach, as well as information on these training and development programs where you can become certified as an executive coach this year. Thank you very much.